You don't think about how incredible it is to take a hot shower or climb into bed and fall to sleep. But when you're living out of your car, those things become luxuries. For young Tanisha and her child, that was their reality. And then the unexpected happened. Tanisha discovered she was 4 months pregnant with a second child. She found herself lost, overwhelmed, and seeking an abortion. For each story like Tanisha's, there are thousands and thousands more stories. Women who find themselves pregnant with overwhelming circumstances and unthinkable obstacles to overcome. Through the 4,000 Steps experience, you can enter into these stories and the common challenges that brave women and men who are seeking an abortion must overcome in order to find hope and choose life for their children. 3,000 children will lose their lives to abortion. But because people like you cared and understood, Tanisha's baby isn't one of them. By gaining understanding, we can work together to serve hurting women and rescue children from abortion.
Hey there, 4,000 steppers. Are you excited to walk for life? Are you quarantining? Are you self-containing? Are you wearing silly masks?
Welcome everybody to 4,000 Steps Virtual Experience 2020. We are so glad you're here. It has been a wild COVID ride, but we are excited. Today, you are going to experience amazing things. So talk to me during this event, ask me anything you want, drop your pictures in there like Mitzi said, enjoy your pajamas. I hope you got some Chick-fil-A minis on your table, and if you don't, I'm sorry that I just caused that for your family to crave that during this entire event. We are here. My name is Amber Lehman. Drop me a comment.
As Mitzi and Amber have just welcomed all of you virtually, I want to introduce you to two other virtual participants. With me here today is the lovely Melissa Dickman, who is our Community Engagement Coordinator in Grapevine, and also joining her, the other famous M of M&M, is Miss Meg McCrory. Give it up for them as they have worked so hard to pull off the event in DFW. And if you're wondering if there's a pool experience in your future or in our future today, the answer is no, but we are maintaining social distancing and having a great time. Welcome to the event. We're glad you're here.
Welcome to 4,000 Steps!
All the people. I know there's got to be more than 3 people.
That's Bob
Are we doing 4,000 steps this year or not?
Yes!
What's up?
Online! Virtually, Bob! You're supposed to be
Virtual?
on Facebook, not here!
I got to be in front of my computer to do this.
YouTube!
We all
You
know
can
what
use
being
your
a
TV,
computer looks like, right?
Hey, I think you got that mask on all wrong. Did the government give you that
Davina
mask?
told me to wear it this way.
Did you
Said
give
it'll
us some
protect
money?
me.
Did you give us some money? Where's the money?
We do need to help you get some money virtually, don't we?
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, somebody asked me what my little role in this thing is. I work with the government team, and we go to different states and we try to help them see how important it is to fund our virtual clinics so we can save babies virtually, which is what we're talking about virtually doing. For
Virtual
4,000 steps.
everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I gotta go. I gotta go get home in front of my computer.
This morning we're going for the wind-blown look because there's a gentle gale blowing from Texas. Look at your hair.
Thank you.
Look at my hair. It looks fantastic.
There's nothing to boil up there.
What a coiffure.
What is,
There's
this
nothing
right,
to-
what is this right here?
That's my facial coiffure. Hi there, 4,000 steppers. I'm Brian Fisher. This is my beautiful wife of almost 25 years, Jessica. Say hi, honey.
Hi.
And we are walking on Saturday morning, joining you virtually all over the country as we support the 4,000 Steps event with Human Coalition. And it is an event. Matter of fact, it is a series of events. And so I just want to say thank you because I know that this isn't just about the walk. This is about weeks of mobilizing and talking to churches and getting your friends together and raising money, all so that we can save one more child, 2 more children, 10, 100 more children from abortion. So thank you for putting all this time and effort into the walk. And the walk is something that we all do because we have a why. My why, Jessica's why, is because on June 22nd, 2010, Human Coalition rescued the very first child from abortion, and that was my catalytic moment from being marginally pro-life to being full-on pro-life, ready to work with you to end abortion. So again, thank you for being part of this awesome day and for all the work that led up to it. We know what a sacrifice it is, especially during this time, and pray for your health and safety as we walk through this crisis together. But we're going to come out strong on the other side, and we're going to save a lot of babies in the meantime. God bless you all.
Welcome, Erin. So glad you could join
Thanks,
us,
guys.
and everybody. So glad you're here. So we are practicing social distancing during the COVID-19 epidemic. Our clients start actually online looking for an abortion pill, something, because they are scared and they don't know where to turn. Thankfully, they get connected to us through our call center. And our call center makes an appointment with our clinic. And they come in within 24 to 48 hours. They come into our nice waiting room. They fill out some paperwork just like a new patient would, just like you would as a new patient, right? That's what we all do. And then one of our sweet nurses walks them back. Oh, by the way, look at our giant 6 feet. We are continuing to be COVID compliant, but this is 4,000 steps, people. So we're so excited that you're here. The steps that a woman takes to get here is so important. And we want her to feel very, very comfortable because we know that she's scared and we know that we are here to love her and to comfort her and to reassure her. So one of the things that we do is we start in one of our counseling rooms where she begins to fill out a decision-making guide. And that guide allows us to know where her head is, where her heart is. And then we bring her into our ultrasound room.
Wow, this is pretty. Love it.
Where she gets to understand how far along she is. And then she also gets to see and meet her child on the screen for the first time. And at that particular point, we bring her into the counseling room again, and Amber is going to share with you what happens here.
Awesome. Then the nurse will start going through the next pages of the decision guide. And she's going to ask her, what does your head say? What does your heart say? And if your circumstances were different, what's your heart's desire? And at that point, we can see how she is struggling between her head that says she can't do it and her heart that wants to have her baby. And at that point, we can say, what I hear you saying is that you would rather have your baby than not. And so at that point, we go from face to face to shoulder, and we're able to start attacking her challenges head on. And then they're going to talk through the pros and cons of abortion, adoption, parenting, and waiting a week. Everybody makes a better decision if they wait a week. And so they wait a week, and so they can choose that. And then they're going to make a plan together. There are things that the clinic staff are going to do. Maybe it's research housing or start putting her resume together. There's things that she's going to do, which is sending us her employment information and those types of things. And or maybe she's going to talk to somebody. Maybe her sister was a supportive person that she told, and so we're going to encourage her to talk to her sister. And so from there, they're going to make that plan. They both sign that plan, and they both follow through on that plan. And on their way out, she gets one of these nifty little spa gift bags put together by the churches. And in here are just goodies that she can go home and take care of herself. And we just tell her, we want to give you a gift. We want you to go home, take a moment for yourself in all of this chaos. Take a breather, take care of yourself, and we're going to be in touch with you tomorrow.
This is God's abundance provided by you, the church, to help us help her. And we rely on your generous donations, both financial and material, to help her just understand that there's somebody here that's going to help and support her,
There's someone here who is going to love her unconditionally, and this is an opportunity to show her through these material gifts and through your generous donations that you've made and sacrificed through 4,000 Steps to help her be loved.
I know so many of you are praying for Human Coalition and our staff and our families. It's been a fascinating 5 weeks for us, as I'm sure it has been for you during the COVID crisis. We did make the decision on March 13th to close all 7 of our brick and mortar clinics and to convert our entire care system to a telehealth system, what we call a virtual clinic. So on March 13th, we did shut our doors temporarily in our 7 clinics, but on March 16th, we opened up full staff, full capacity, serving women all over the country in our markets using the power of technology. By God's grace, we already have 2 virtual clinics that serve certain areas of the country, so we converted the entire operation to a virtual operation. And as you might imagine, this is a very stressful time for many people in our country. The unemployment rate is skyrocketing, there are financial stresses, there are relationship stresses, and so we have seen a marked increase in the number of calls that we are getting from women who are struggling, and frankly, we are seeing an increase in the number of babies that are being saved. It's only God that could work something out like that, where he could take a crisis like a pandemic and convert it into more and more saved babies. So we are responding. Being at full staff, full capacity is not always easy, especially when we have everybody working from home, and that's not always convenient. But our courageous, awesome staff is getting it done. And in all of our markets, we are seeing this increase. Clients are saying things like you can imagine. Hey, I don't have a job anymore. I can't raise a child. Hey, I didn't mean to get pregnant. What do I do? In some states where courageous governors have shut down abortion clinics, these women legitimately have nowhere else to go, and that pleases us very much. In states where the governors have kept their abortion clinics open, we are still fighting to get in touch with those women and save those children. So your support, your involvement, your prayers, your volunteerism is more important now than ever, because the need for Human Coalition is greater during a crisis than even before that. And by God's grace, he has given us the awesome staff, the best technology, and some wonderful innovation to meet those needs, and we couldn't be more thrilled. We're going to get through this together. We're going to come out the other side of COVID stronger, and we believe we are going to make advances for the cause of life so that abortion is unthinkable and unavailable in America.
Hey, Melissa, how's it going?
Good.
Good to see
You
you.
too.
Melissa Dickman, introduce yourself, because I think all anyone could see earlier was just you on Aaron's cell phone.
Yeah, so I am Melissa Dickman. I'm at the Grapevine location. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator, and I love it.
Yay! And I am Mitzi Bassett, and I am in the Raleigh market. And we are so glad you're here. So as you can tell, we are definitely social distancing because Melissa is in Texas and I'm in North Carolina. And we are going to be your virtual learning station hosts today. We're going to walk you through, basically, we're going to talk you through what you would typically learn at a 4,000 Steps live event.
God's favor has taken all our markets virtual in 72 hours.
72 hours. 7 markets in 72 hours. That is amazing, and definitely a God thing. Really, the first step in any of this is a telephone call.
You're right. Yeah, most clients who call us are looking for an abortion, and our online presence is significant. It ensures that Human Coalition appears in the top 3 spots when searching. So there are 1.85 million searches every month for abortions and other items related to abortion, such as abortion pill, an abortion provider, etc. And so we give a disclaimer that we do not refer for or provide abortions. But when in crisis mentality, the client is desperate and clicks and calls us, which gives us the opportunity to counsel them well.
And that's exactly what we do, because we love them from the first time. I mean, we've already been in prayer for them, and we've been doing this for quite some time, and we have seasoned people on the phone ready to take their call and ready to love them from the first hello through whatever decision that they make.
So out of every 100 pregnancies in the U.S., 21 will end in abortion. 15 will be miscarried, and 64 will be born live, of which 2 will be placed for adoption.
And I was reading the other day that 50% of pregnancies are unplanned. 4 out of 10 of those that are unplanned will end in abortion.
Those are difficult stats to comprehend. So many of our clients feel alone, afraid, and uncertain when facing unplanned pregnancy. And then you add in COVID-19, and those feelings skyrocket.
One of our nurse counselors shared with me, the other day, that COVID-19 is real, and it is weighing on the minds and the hearts of our clients, and they are afraid, and they are alone, and those are normal feelings, and they are uncertain, and those are normal feelings, but they are more overwhelmed with those feelings than they ever have been before. And I just can't help but think, when you're feeling alone and you're feeling afraid and you're feeling overwhelmed, I mean, even as a brand new mom, you feel that way when you're like, yay, I'm excited. But then you're like, I'm not really sure about this. And so it's just easy to think, maybe I won't be a mom.
Statistics show that 79% of women who chose abortion would have chosen life if their partner had been supportive. 79%. This shows that abortion is not a woman's issue. It's a human issue.
I'm going to drop a link to an article that our president, Brian Fisher, wrote not too long ago. And if you want to learn more about that, I highly encourage that you read the article, because now we're learning that abortion, and it's one of the reasons that even during this pandemic, where so many doctors' offices are closed, Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics are remaining open.
Thanks, Mitzi, for doing that. So there are other pressures for our clients to abort. Many of them are financial pressures. They may already have children and don't feel they could afford to bring another child into the family.
Yeah, and sometimes they also know that if they choose to abort, like we said before, that they're not going to have the support. Well, that lack of support weighs into those financial pressures. If they don't have housing, if they don't have a job, and if they don't have childcare, what are they going to do? Those are our three big issues with the majority of our clients: are jobs, housing, and healthcare. Well, now you've got, I don't have the support of the people who say that they're going to love me, and I don't know what's next. I don't know how to move on. And that just continues to perpetuate the fear of the unknown and the uncertainty, and it also perpetuates the fear of being alone.
Yeah,
Most of our clients don't like.
Yeah. So guys, keeping that in mind, most of our clients work minimum wage jobs, which often means they have more monthly bills than money. Take a look at this slide. It shows you income and expenses that our clients have, but often they come up short.
Thank you. There are more ways to help. And some of you out there may have gotten an invitation to this event yesterday and you didn't know a thing about 4,000 steps. You're like, what is this 4,000 steps? But you may have heard some things that Brian said or a client said that has led you to think, I want to support this. They know exactly what they're doing, and they love compassionately, and they care deeply. and I want to be a part of that. So there's a link. There may even be a couple of links coming up shortly to share with you that that would allow you to give today. So you can give today. Some of you may be thinking, well, I've already given. We're not asking you to give, double, triple. But some of you may be thinking, I want to get involved. I want to know what else is going on. But before I get into that, let's explore a little bit about the virtual and how that works, getting material assistance. Melissa, can you help us with that?
Yeah, so our virtual model works so that our clients can receive that material assistance we told you about. We can have items drop shipped directly to the client.
Yes, and there's some other ways that you can get involved too, with being able to email e-gift cards directly to some of our clinic directors. And I'm going to drop those emails down in the comment box. So if that is a way that you would like to get involved, we'd love for you to participate in that opportunity as well.
So often we forget what the obstacles that our clients overcome in order to choose life really are. It's scary when times are normal, but it's even more overwhelming during these times of uncertainty.
Our clinic staff and our call center staff are our frontline heroes, and they have felt the burden of not only transitioning to a full virtual operation, but also, having to deal with clients who are really, really stressed. Well, I've got some good news about that. Our speed to nurse with virtual has made a huge impact. And since January 2020 through March 31st, 2020, we've rescued 1,018 children so far in 2020. Yeah.
It's encouraging, it's amazing, and it points directly to our God, our good God.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'd like to spend a little bit more time talking about our Continuum of Care program and go into a little more detail. Our Continuum of Care program is designed to remove barriers, identify what those barriers are, and help the client remove them so that she can choose life. And we want ultimately to get our clients connected to a local church so that they can understand, basically so that they can oftentimes see a paradigm, see an example of family that they've never seen before, and help them to get into our membership program.
Yes, so Continuum of Care, is a holistic program, and it seeks to provide ongoing care and support to clients in crisis who are seeking an abortion. Every client who comes to the clinic or is served virtually is offered Continuum of Care services during their initial appointment.
Yeah, and if they choose to utilize the Continuum of Care, then our Continuum of Care coordinator will give them a call and basically walk through them and be a friend and somebody who's going to shepherd them through the process of getting them the help and the assistance that they need. Ultimately, connecting them with a mentor that can help them move from, removing these barriers, because it's life altering. Regardless of what a woman chooses, whether she chooses to carry to parent, to carry to place for adoption, or to abort, it's life altering. You're never going to be the same. And we want to empower them to be able to feel confident to choose life for their child, whether it's to parent or to place for adoption.
Our clients need hope.
That is exactly what our Continuum of Care program helps our clients understand, that they can move out of a place of fear and into a place of stability.
Once a client achieves stabilization, our goal is to connect her to a volunteer mentor who can continue to provide that positive guidance toward those lifestyle changes. We also work to pair mentors to engaged fathers at our clinic that express a need and desire for that type of support. Our volunteer mentors provide guidance on topics such as parenting, employment, career goals, and spiritual growth.
It's just a real natural way for that to be led in, so that they can get into a faith community and a church community.
I completely agree, because once they're connected to the church body, and then they get discipled and shepherded, you said shepherded before, and it's true. True change, as we all know, comes from a relationship with Christ, and that is the goal.
Amen. That is absolutely the goal. That is absolutely the goal.
Because of you, you've given generously and prayed. We're serving more women than ever before in the midst of COVID-19. Our mission at Human Coalition is to reach women, rescue children, and restore families in order to transform our culture of death to a culture of life and to end abortion in our lifetime.
So one of the ways that we do that, like we said before, is loving our clients right where they are and helping them to see their uniqueness that is given to them by their Creator.
Our clients are loved and cared for by a wonderful team of nurses, social workers, mentors, and faith communities. It's a privilege for us to be able to share hope and offer support.
And we couldn't do it without your support and without your participation in 4,000 Steps. So thank you, thank you, thank you again. Thank you again so much. I have the great privilege, hold on to your seats, there's still more to come, because we have a special guest coming, and I'm going to introduce him to you. It's Dan Darling with the ERLC. Dan is with the Ethics, Religious, and Liberties Commission of the Southern Baptist Convention. Say that's kind of a mouthful. So welcome, Dan. So glad you can join us.
Hello, I'm Dan Darling, and I'm Vice President of Communications for the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission. And I had so much hoped to be with you there at the Human Coalition in Raleigh. I've enjoyed my time at these events, and have come to really, really appreciate and respect and admire the great work that Human Coalition is doing these days in fighting for every unborn human life in your communities. I just want to commend all of you who work at every level at Human Coalition to know that you are doing God's work. You are doing important work. You are doing work that is courageous in a time when the pro-life cause is experiencing some really good momentum, but also is increasingly looked on as fringe and weird by both the mainstream media, by popular culture. And I just want to encourage you to keep fighting the good fight, keep doing what you're doing, keep saving lives. We will only understand the full impact of what you are doing when Jesus returns and we see all the lives that you have been able to save, both spiritually and physically. And so I just want to commend you and the work that you're doing there in Raleigh and around the world. It's interesting, we are in this time of coronavirus right now. And it strikes me that even in secular societies, we're hearing people talk about the value of every human life. We are shutting down, taking great sacrifice and risk and hardship in order to protect the most vulnerable, those who are immunodeficient, those who are elderly and sick, those who might have underlying health conditions. We're not saying that they're expendable. We're not saying that we don't care if they die. We're saying, no, we're going to stop everything. We're going to shut up in our homes so that the vulnerable can live. This tells me that even on human hearts, there's this instinct that humanity is valuable. And so we need to speak to the very real and scary realities that unwed mothers face, economically, socially, in every way, in a way that they understand that we're there for them. And we need the church to come around and provide resourcing and care. This is why I'm so bullish about the Human Coalition and what you are doing, because you are coming in with this message that, hey, listen, as a young mother, you can flourish and your baby can flourish. You don't have to choose your own flourishing over the flourishing of your baby. You both can. And I think that's an incredible and powerful message. I think, secondly, we need to have language of human dignity across. God has gifted people in different areas, in different specialties, right? And for those of you that work at Human Coalition, God has called you and pressed you into this unique space where you are singularly advocating for the flourishing of unborn human life. And you should continue to do that. But as Christians, when we talk about other issues beyond the unborn, we need to not abandon our belief in the sanctity of human life. So even as we talk politics, even we talk about other kinds of people groups, if we use dignity rhetoric in those environments, we'll lose the right to make an argument about the unborn. So I think that is very, very important. I think third, we have to make our arguments couched in gospel language. And what I mean by that is this. We don't want to come into this argument as if we are the good people, as if we are the righteous people, the righteous warriors. We want to come into these arguments and these open-handed, broken people. We too have committed violence against God by our sin. And if we carry that kind of broken, redeemed gospel language into our conversations, it'll make us compassionate, it'll make us listeners, it'll make us empathetic toward the plight of those who have to face difficult choices. It'll make our care better. And so I encourage you to be gospel people. Have the end in mind, that God is doing a work and He's doing it through you. And so I just want to encourage all my friends at the Human Coalition with this. I want to support you in every way I can. And I want to say that if you're watching this video and you are considering giving toward the work of the Human Coalition, I want to beg you and implore you with everything I have to do that. If you are pro-life and if you care deeply about the slaughter of unborn human beings, as I do, I cannot think of a better place to put your pro-life money than the Human Coalition. Would you join this cause? Would you be this generation's Wilberforce, this generation's Martin Luther King, this generation's warrior for the cause of the unborn? Would you do that? I want to encourage you to do that. And I want to thank so much the wonderful people at Human Coalition for the great work they do. Thank you, and it's been great to be with you.
Good morning. My name is Mary Fleischman. I get to serve as the clinic director, and I love seeing how everybody on camera is socially distancing. I have been practicing for this event all my life. Social distancing comes very natural to me. I'm an extreme introvert, so I am rocking it just fine at home. I want to introduce you to Jen. And I'm so thankful that Jen is willing to tell her story and tell what her life looked like a year ago and then what it looks like now and how the Women's Clinic was able to help her. So thank you, Jen, for being with us this morning. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was just exactly a year ago this week that we heard from you for the first time, Jen. Can you tell me how you found the Women's Clinic?
So this is my favorite part of my story to tell because it was by complete accident that I found you guys. I had set up an appointment with a different clinic. I went in like knowing that I wanted to get an abortion, and I was lost on my way there, and so I called. And they described your guys' building exactly. Like I walked around for so long trying to find it because I didn't see any, like the name of the clinic that I was going to go to. I didn't see it anywhere. And so I walked into a random building that looked like the one they described to me. And I was like, hey, I'm supposed to have a meeting at Planned Parenthood. And they said, oh, well, this is all of these pregnancy center. Like, we have an appointment now. And and then I met Annette, and that's where everything changed. So I think it was totally a God thing that led
We do
me
too.
to your guys' door.
We do too, yeah.
So.
So Jen, can you tell me what had brought you to what you thought was an abortion clinic at that point? What part of your story led you to that place?
Really just fear, I think. Obviously, Grace was not planned, and I was just really scared. And my main thing was like, what am I going to tell my parents? Because my dad was a pastor growing up, and I knew this was not in their plan for me or my plan for me. So I think just me being scared and not really knowing what to do. And I thought like my only option was like, I just can't have this baby. So
that was the third week of April. Do you remember when you found out you were pregnant?
Yeah, I very much remember because my best friend had just broken up with her boyfriend the day before. And I was like, you know what? I have bigger news. I just found out I was pregnant. So it was a very scary.
And did you think that you would ever be somebody who considered abortion?
I mean, not really. Like, I don't know. I just never even pictured myself being in that situation.
Sure. Do you remember anything about your time with Annette?
Yeah, I actually, I voice recorded the whole meeting. I don't know if she knows that, but I wanted to show it to let my boyfriend at the time listen to it. And I just remember feeling like right whenever I walked into the room where I was going to meet with her, I felt so comfortable because it was like just so cozy in there. And I remember her showing me just a factual video of what an abortion would be like. And I never felt like pressured. She asked me like, kind of what I was feeling about everything. And I just told her I'm mostly just terrified to tell my family and I don't know what to do. And she just made me feel so comforted in the fact that my family's still going to love me. And she shared her story about a situation kind of similar with her daughter. And she just made me feel really good about keeping the baby. And I walked out of there knowing there's no way I'm not having this baby.
Do you remember telling your parents? How'd that go?
Well, I actually asked Annette to meet with me first, just to ask advice and like just get some sort of insight on like what the heck I should say and how I should do it. And I ended up telling them at like 11 o'clock at night, my boyfriend had come over to my parents' house and we just sat them down and told them. And I mean, it was really, really emotional and scary for me. But I mean, I went into it thinking my parents weren't going to talk to me for months and like that they weren't going to be supportive. But I was completely wrong, and they were like so incredibly supportive, and I felt just so loved and taken care of. And like afterwards, I was like showing them the ultrasound pictures that we had gotten at the clinic, and it was a very happy thing.
That's so good to hear.
Yeah.
Can you describe life now for me? What's life like now?
Well, me and Grace's dad, we are engaged now, and
Congratulations.
Thank you. We got an apartment closer to his work, And his work allows me to be a stay-at-home mom, so I get to hang out with her all day.
Jen, do you ever have moments where you think how close you came to making a different decision?
Yeah, I mean, before I showed up at the clinic, I had pretty much made my decision that I wasn't going to keep the baby, but I knew, I kept on thinking like, oh, I really want to, but I just can't. And like, oh, this would be, like, I could picture myself being a mom, but I was also like, I know that it's just not an option. Like, I was entertaining the idea of me keeping her, but I knew, like, in my head, I was like, I'm not actually going to, I just can't do that.
Do you know that your dad called to thank us?
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell him that we had seen somebody named Jen. They just told me there was a father on the line who wanted to thank us. And so I took the phone call, and I'm pretty sure he showed up in person and made a donation too. But he called, and I was, they said, this is Mary, the clinic director. So I talked to him, and I said, I can't, really respond with anything other than, thank you for calling. And he said, I just want to tell you that you saved 2 lives that day. I don't know exactly what he meant, but he said that he supported pregnancy centers in the past, and he had no idea that he would ever be on the receiving end of services, but that he just really wanted to say thank you for saving 2 lives that day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you guys really did. I mean, I tell Annette all the time, I'm like, Grace would not be here if it was not for the clinic, and I'm just like so incredibly thankful for what you guys do and how you guys changed mine and brought Grace's life. So pretty awesome.
Well, we are so thankful that you're willing to share that story. It's really important that the people that support us get to see the faces and the names and the stories of lives change. So you sharing your story will help us continue to be able to touch other lives. So I am ever so thankful that you were willing to meet with us this morning and share that part of your story. What's your hope and dream for Grace as she gets older?
Really, I was actually just telling my mom the other day, I want Grace to be like the most gentle and kind and loving person. Like, I can hope all of these great things for her, but really I want her to grow up knowing the Lord and knowing that she's loved, and that she can come to me in any situation, just like I was able to go to my parents. So I just want her to know that she's loved, and whatever she wants to be in life, I want her to know that I can support her in whatever she decides to do.
We can tell what an awesome mother you are. So thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Well, we're just about ready to finish up our 4,000 steps here on this Saturday morning. Thanks again for being with us. If you have any questions, there's a chat window somewhere on your screen. Could be here, could be here, could be here, could be here, not sure. Either way, we'd love to hear from you. Post a question. Maybe you want to post about what you've learned through the 4,000 steps experience. Either way, we're just so glad that you have joined us for this event. We love our clients and we love saving babies, and we know you do too.
Thank you for joining us this morning for 4,000 Steps. We would love to share a story with you now of a client that we have served through Human Coalition.
Bye-bye.